Live from London, it's Car-Boyz! Yes, dear listener, we're here. We are not queer. We drink beer. It's the Car Show, which was made for radio. By that, we mean we have absolutely no pictures. Because we're a broke podcast, we ain't going to be retiring on the proceeds of this show. I can tell you that for free. No, we are gratis free, and our aim is to give you the insight into global motoring from the perspective of the consumer. There will be no favouring of big car companies here, not unless one wants to sponsor us. Coming up, we are that easily sold. Coming up, we've got back to the card news. We've got a bulging sack full of mail that we'll be delving into and answering some of your more perplexing questions, such as, who is the person who keeps buying French cars apart from the French? We've also got a great quiz this week where I'll be giving a young lad from North London the chance to walk off with the keys to a classic Ferrari. Not the car, just the keys. This week, the quiz is entitled Mad Dogs and Englishmen. Foreigners, they're a funny lot. They eat weird food, bath irregularly, and often drive on the wrong side of the road. But they also have some very strange laws. I will be asking my contestant which laws of the highway apply to which countries, such as, is it illegal in America to eat a burger whilst driving? And the answer, of course, being no, obviously.
Especially when you got a microwave in your car.
Yes.
I'm looking for
microwaves.
I'm looking forward to it. Yes, it's the show that kicks ass of all other radio shows. And there are a great deal of competition from what we're doing. Coming up this week, we've got the Lost Highways, where we go through an open door to listeners. Does that sound right? To go through an open door to listeners? No. And they give us...
No, I don't know. That's been written really badly.
We open the doors of listeners. That's what we'll be doing. Give us their favourite driving roads from across the globe. There will be a small mountain pass or a 6-lane highway in a mega city. Also, we'll be opening doors to a classic car in our classic car section. This week, it's the mighty Jaguar XJ. And we'll also be asking the age-old question of, who are those people that leave their rear fog lights on all the time? You know who you are. That is really annoying. I'm Simon Sujuan, and yes, I'm going to take my horse to the Old Town Road. I'm going to ride till I can't no more. I'm going to take my horse to the Old Town Road. I'm going to ride till I can't no more.
Wow, thank you, little Nas X. I preferred your brother, Biz Signaz XI, VXI, XI. He was the Roman of the Nazis. And I'm Richard Green, and I think I'll travel to Rio. I'll use music for flight. There's nothing I know of in Rio, but it's something to do with the night. It's only a whimsical notion to fly down to Rio tonight, and I probably won't fly down to Rio, but then again, I just might. Rio, I prefer his cousin, Archduke Franz Ferdinand. And together, that reference only works if you're English and you know football. And by that, I mean soccer. And this is...
Car-Boyz.
And to start off, it's time for my weekly rant where I turn into a miserable old git. I don't know about turn, I just become, well, I am anyway. And I complain that things were much better back in the olden days. You could leave your doors unlocked. You knew who your neighbours were, and the Cray twins only ever wrote their own. Well, let me tell you, that's not the point of my rant. Things were awful in the old days. We had no real coffee, no avocados, and only Watney's Red Barrel beer. It was a nightmare. And yes, you could leave your doors open, but only because there was nothing worth stealing. And you hated your neighbours, and you wished you didn't really know them. And yes, the Cray twins did only hurt their own. And by that, I mean they hurt the people who crossed them. That's what you do when you're a gangster. You don't randomly target people in the street. You'd have no time at all for racketeering or prostitution. I digress. This week, we've turned our attention to car tax. Now, according to the latest stats, more than 600,000 cars, vans and trucks in Great Britain have no road tax. An estimated 94 million is being lost due to vehicle excise duty avoidance. According to a new report by the Department for Transport, we love those people, the figure isn't as huge as it only constitutes about 1.6% of all vehicles on the road, which is good news. But to be brutally honest, my wallet gets annually assaulted by the Department for Transport, so I don't really care if they lose a few million. I pay a car tax when I buy the car. I pay a tax when in the petrol I put in the car. I pay tax to get my car repaired. And then, and here's the biggie, I pay tax to keep my car on the road. The vehicle excise duty, of which less than 20% gets spent on Britain's crumbling road network. So yes, personally, I have an axe to grind against the road tax, but there used to be a better way it was enforced. And the way it was enforced was called a tax disc. These were paper discs you put in your window, and they showed you the registration of the car. They showed you that you paid tax. The discs were abolished in 2014 and replaced with, well, nothing really. Before 2014, everything was still electronic and car registrations were all kept online. The tax disc just proved to police walking the beat, traffic wardens and other members of the public that the car had been taxed. Well, guess what? Since the government got rid of the tax disc, people are driving around with no tax. It's gone up threefold. A big deal, you might say. Well, considering these people will also have no insurance, yes, it is. If they crash into you, you're the one that's going to have to pay for it. As a rule, I never drive near foreign vehicles if I can help it. It's not the fact I'm xenophobic. I give lorries from Poland a wide berth. I stay away from Romanian builders' vans. I certainly don't go near Dutch caravanners on holiday in Cornwall. And yes, it's not because I'm a nationalistic xenophobe. Nope. It's because I know trying to claim insurance off these people across foreign borders is almost impossible. Major insurance companies who might insure the same people in France and England simultaneously will not bother to claim across an international border if the two parties have a crash. They will tell you to claim off your own insurance in that country. And as for countries that are new to the EU or even haven't joined the EU yet, I did see a Ukrainian van in West London last week. Don't know how that got here, but forget it. They probably have no insurance, and who knows the condition of the vehicle. Well, now, you can't tell who is insured and who isn't. That's the main thing. When there's a paper tax disc in the front window, you can. To be honest, everybody looks to me now like they're uninsured because they have nothing in their window. My point is this, people. If you break the law, you will continue to break the law and drive with no road tax. But maybe, just maybe, we shouldn't make it too easy for people to break the law for the sake of a small piece of paper. Boy, I really miss my road tax stamps.
Oh, I used to like that, going to the post office, getting the road tax, and then wondering what colour the new year was going to be.
Oh, yes.
Different colours.
Was it blue, or was it brown, or was it red? I think those are the colours. Now, I used to work many years ago as a car park attendant. I've got it right now. I was going to say a traffic warden. I've never worked as a traffic warden. I'm a nice person. No, I used to work in a large major car park, a multi-storey car park, as a car park attendant. And we used to lock up about 8 o'clock at night. And what we knew is we'd go and check the cars that were still in there at 8 o'clock at night. And if you looked at the tax disc, you could see where the car was registered. Yeah. And if the car had been registered locally, then you knew these people are probably running late. So you'd give them 10 minutes, and then you'd phone the manager. We think we've got somebody that's going to come back to his car, and forget that we close at 8 o'clock. And he'd need to phone the manager up, and the manager would come out and let them out of the car park. Yeah. If they had a tax disc like Merseyside or Cornwall, or we'd go, well, these people are probably staying in the town overnight. Manager probably isn't going to need to come out. It just made our job easier, but also generally, you knew you saw a tax disc, you knew that car's probably insured. Now you don't know. It's a real guess. Also, when you sold your second-hand car, it was an always good idea to keep hold of all the old tax discs. I don't know if you did this. The logbook. And then the person buying the car could see he's got another proof of history. Yeah, I know you said you've owned it for 8 years or 2 years. Yes, I have. There's the logbook. There's the tax discs. And it helps to build up, especially on older cars, of which I've pretty much always ever driven, a history. And so the person buying the car thinks, this guy's, he's the full shilling. He is telling me the truth.
I do like the tax disc. I do miss those. You're right, because those of you abroad may not. I don't think this is the same. Where in order to get the tax disc, you had to have a valid MOT.
Yes,
and
so that's
an insurance document.
Yeah.
So that's why you knew that actually. Yeah.
I mean, you could always go down the road of cancelling the insurance. I had friends that did, or not friends, people I was aware of, that would cancel the insurance the day after they got the tax disc. So they were driving around uninsured, and they at least had the tax disc on the car. But that was a proof that you were insured. I just see cars now with no tax disc, and I go, I don't know. I think you have a tax disc in Canada. Canada has a really great thing where they have a basic level of insurance, a very basic third-party fire and theft insurance when you buy your Canadian tax disc. And I think in America, is it something to do with the plates? You have to have a tag on your plates? Something like that.
Yeah.
I just like a little... I mean, and the joke was, and all English people, British people of a certain age will appreciate this, somebody would just put a beer mat in the front when they didn't have their tax disc.
Or a thing that says in the post or something
in the post. But yeah, it was all done online anyway. They just thought they'd save a little bit more extra cash by not having tax discs. Well, probably they did, but I think the proof is in the pudding that it's gone up by 2/3.
It might have been a bigger thing. Also, the number of post offices were disappearing as well. So,
well, the last few years I always did mine online.
Yes, yeah,
I always did mine online. Shall we have some news?
Yes, please. Let's have some music.
Here we go. News.
And first off, this week in Big Cat's Car News, Jaguar, we like Jaguar, is getting ready to reveal...
hang on, sorry, it slipped onto the next track. Operator error.
They're ready to reveal an updated F-Type as the latest spy shops give us a best look yet at the redesigned sports car ahead of the anticipated reveal in the coming weeks. The photographs posted on our Facebook page, which will give you all the details later on, were taken near Jaguar Land Rover's Gaydon Technical HQ, show a number of prototypes, and look at the rear shows it retains the same vertical boot lid, but the new wraparound tail lights and a reshaped bumper. Quick glimpse at the cabin doesn't reveal much, but it looks like the infotainment system has moved on a generation, while the rotary dial climate display remains. Looks pretty angular. It's expected that much of the more advanced technology and the infotainment features from the I-Pace and the 2019 XE model will make its way into the F-Type. That means new digital dials, a larger and more feature-laden touchscreen, and a substantial upgrades to the materials. JLR is, that's not JLR, not JLS, is now phasing out its long-running supercharged V6 in favour of a new turbocharged hybridized straight six, and the F-Type will benefit from this more efficient powertrain. The turbocharged four-cylinder and supercharged V8 engines should be carried over onto the new car with limited changes. However, indeed, this prototype registers as a 5.0 or a 5-litre in English money V8, paid to rumours that Jaguar Land Rover would bring in a BMW-sourced 4.4-litre unit. Here, because there's too many cars at the moment that are using parts from other vehicles. I
mean, diesel cars and vans always had an engine usually sourced from Peugeot. If you drove a diesel Jaguar, the likelihood is it's a Peugeot van engine retuned. But and that's not bad, because the whole thing would be very different. It's just the block. The whole thing would be retuned. It would be upgraded. I don't see the point of driving a Jaguar if you can have a BMW engine in it. I mean, if it's going to be a straight out of the BMW, I don't know, whatever, M5 coupe,
yes,
or and straight into the flipping Jaguar, what's the point? But I do like a Jag. Awful car second hand. I mean, you're probably going to see. We'll see that in our classic car selection. But you can't really see a great deal for this. There's a guy around the corner from me that has a white F-Type, and it's quite possibly the most car in the world. I love it. Completely impractical, and I can't afford one, but it does look very sexy.
Although that said, I'm not sure Jaguar are in good shape at the moment. There's lots of they're bringing off the crossover, the SUVs, but I don't see as many Jag saloons as I used to.
They've suffered in America. They brought the
XE and XF
out in the States. The saloon, which sort of looks like a Mondeo, let's be honest. It looks like a Ford because it contains a lot of Ford parts. That has not fared well in the States.
Yeah.
The problem is it's an expensive European car compared to what you can buy from Chrysler and what you can buy from Honda. It is really expensive. And reliability-wise, yeah, I don't know. It's Ford reliability and maybe a little bit sub-Ford reliability.
Yeah.
So you've got that sort of money. I mean, a Jaguar in England is an expensive car, but it isn't going to be that expensive compared to compared to. I think the jump is so much more, and there's so much more you can get when you buy something like a Cadillac or something American. And I think that's what they're doing. They're thinking, well, it's all right, but for that money, I can get a Mercedes, I can get a BMW, and I think that has more cachet in the States and a bit more reliability.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see how they do. And sticking with stupidly expensive car news, Mercedes-Benz has extended its Maybach lineup with the unveiling of a new plush 550 bhp flagship version of the third generation GLS, I should say, at the 2009 Guangzhou Motor Show in China. The linking up alongside the S-Class based Maybach Saloon, a top-flight SUV is planned for delivery in the UK in 2020 to rival the likes of the Bentley Bentayga and the Range Rover. Featuring a series of unique styling cues, a mild hybrid-driven drivetrain, and an upgraded interior. The model invokes many of the stylish elements seen on the S-Class Maybach to help distinguish it from the standard third-generation GLS, including a distinctive chrome grille. Everybody's about the grille at the moment, featuring vertical louvres, chrome headlights with the side window surrounds along the sills, standard 22-inch and optional 23-inch wheels, an optional two-tone exterior paint scheme in 8 different colour combos inside. Yes, it looks like Housewives of New York. The Mercedes Maybach sports an upgraded interior with Napa leather upholstery. Unique trim elements among the long list of donor options for the UK customers are reclining rear seats with a massage function, nice, and a fixed centre console with folding tables and a refrigerator. A 4-seater layout can be further enhanced with a panoramic sunroof. Here's the thing that driving people and people listening to the show are concerned about. 0 to 60 time for this. 4.9 seconds, which is impressive. It seems it's the shape of a brick. Top speed limited 155, and combined fuel not bad 24 mpg.
Okay.
Prices are expected to be released earlier next year, I should say. Expected to be a lot. I saw a Maybach in the similar colour tone of the picture I posted on the Facebook page, which was a burgundy and black, coming out of the Saudi embassy. Oh. This is the market for these cars. I think the registration was like SG1, so the registration is probably £500,000. The market for these cars is the Saudi embassy.
I like this Maybach third generation GLS because if you look at the front, I know this is radio, but we'll use all our skills as radio presenters. Big, massive grille, but it's got almost a German walrus moustache underneath.
Oh, yes. Now I'm seeing it. It was sort of, like, and a bit sort of fluffy at either side.
Yes, that's the one.
It's like so it comes into the middle, and then as it flares out, Wing Commander style.
Yeah.
So, I'm now trying to think of the famous 1950s comedian who had a, the name escapes me. There's a very famous 1950s comedian who has a moustache. I'm not. You're not going to help me with this, am I? I'm out on my own. It'll come back to me later in the show. It'll come back to me.
But the thing is, this vehicle looks like it should be drinking a big pint of beer. Yes. German beer. That's what it should be.
On the front, it does look like a Wing Commander or a strange Belgium chap.
Interior, that's very plushy. You're sitting in these giant armchair type things in there, and it's got like 4 air vents in the front. That's really bizarre.
The grill thing seems to be huge at the moment. What's that all about? Everything. The Lexus grills are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Jimmy Edwards, thank you very much, was the comedian I was trying to think of. Former RAF pilot during World War II is a famous black and white sort of comedian, I think, in British television. He always played a headmaster, I think, Jimmy Edwards.
Not stereotyped at all.
No, should we call it the Jimmy Edwards Maybach?
Yes, that sounds a special edition.
Yes. But no, I've noticed at the Lexus, everybody's grill is getting bigger and bigger, and you actually don't need the big grills because fans in engines are becoming much more efficient and much better at cooling the engine. But grills seem to be getting bigger and bigger.
You're right. I think it's the BMW 7 Series as well, or some of the new BMWs as well. They've got massive, huge nostrils flaring out of them.
That would be great if you go through water, to let all the water through to get to the hybrid battery. Underneath.
Exactly.
How clever.
That's what they're doing. Speaking of hybrids and electric pickup news, last week it was a great source of amusement for us. We covered the launch in LA of the new Tesla utility vehicle called the Cybertruck. Much to our amusement, we saw footage of it. It's supposed to be bulletproof glass, and Elon Musk, the owner of Tesla, he showed us that it wasn't actually bulletproof at all by putting a brick through the window. I think it was a brick that he put through the window.
Yes.
But Tesla has stunned the pickup truck world by unveiling of its Cybertruck in the US brand's long anticipated first foray into popular full-size truck market, revealed in the event in LA, California, separately from the motor show. The all-electric Cybertruck, don't say that too fast because you can come out wrong, is the same length, which is 5.87 meters as traditional competitors, but that's where the similarities end. For starters, it features a radical wedge-shape design, which looks like a lump of cheese. Unlike anything, it's a reverse TR7, which the Tesla CEO Elon Musk insists isn't far from production readiness. The Cybertruck promises spec list equally as stunning. The free powertrain options will be offered with 1, 2, or 3 electric motors if you didn't need one motor enough. The single motor rear-wheel drive only version is said to do 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds with no quoted battery size, but it's claimed a range of 250 miles. It can also tow 3.4 kilos, no, that's 3,400 kilos, and has a 1360 kilogram payload. This is said to be to cost $39,000, which in proper money is £30,600 before any government incentives. Next is the mid-range dual-motor variant, offering all-wheel drive, a claimed 0 to 60 time of 4.5 seconds, exactly what you need in a pickup, and the ability to tow more than 4,500 kilos. That said, it will cost $49,900, which is £38,300 before incentives.
I think I was supposed to edit this bit, and I haven't, because there's far too much cack about this car and what's being promised and what's going to come. Would
you have one of these or the Ford F-150?
I'd have an F-150. Of course, I'd have an F-150. Because what I do is every 300 miles, there'll be somewhere where within about 15 minutes I could fill it up.
Exactly.
Not 5 hours. I like what Elon Musk said. Room for improvement. Oh, yes, room for improvement. About smashed windows. Now, to give him his due, the smashed windows were because, let me get it right, they tested it with, it's something to do with the other window being open on the other side. So that it was an air thing. That's what they were saying. Because I watched another video where they had the glass... bolted to a table, and they were dropping bricks on it, and it wasn't doing anything. I think the windows have to be up. If they're not up, and if they're not up in the car all round, it's not bulletproof. It's smashed.
Of course, it's not, right, because if your windows would be down and they shot bullets at you, then you would be dead. You'd be shot in the face.
Yeah. Also, wouldn't you need the windows to be open so you could get your gun out and shoot them back? And the flatbed, apparently, there is a flatbed in there. It sort of folds down. I didn't realize.
That's handy, isn't it?
Yes.
You'd rather want a flatbed that's just a flatbed and nothing else.
This is just a little play thing for him, isn't it? It's not really going to be a truck. I don't know why we're talking about this. Trucks might look like this in 100 years' time. I doubt it, because I think trucks are completely utilitarian. They need to get stuff from point A to point B. Yeah. Nobody gives a shit what they look like. Nobody cares. Is it reliable? Can I just put fuel in it? I want it diesel. I want a big engine. It would be nice if it looked quite sexy. I mean, because the market is the US. The US buy more pickup trucks than anybody else in the world. In England, And in Europe, we buy vans. We buy little Mercedes Sprinter style vans. That's what we lug around. The pickup truck has a place here, not a bigger place as the US, because the people are further apart.
Yeah.
My brother lives in the middle of nowhere in Australia. He's got a pickup truck because he says to get people to come to his house and pick stuff up and get rid of stuff it costs a fortune. So he was just like, my daily drive is going to be a big pickup truck. I think he's got a Isuzu.
Okay. Yeah.
And he can get loads of stuff in the flat. It's a 4-cab. You can get 4 people in. And in America, there's a whole culture with having a pickup truck, and having shotguns on the back and being a real man, and having lights. This is not the pickup truck they want. I mean, in America, they don't even respect things like Toyotas. It's all about American Chevy, Ford pickup trucks. That's your brand. I don't know why he's trying to break into this market. The whole point of electric cars is they're going to be city-based.
Exactly. It doesn't make sense at all whatsoever.
And in British, sticking with electric cars, hypercar news.
Ooh.
The new Lotus. Now, if I get this wrong, I apologise. Evija or Evija is an all-electric hypercar claimed to be the most powerful production car in the world. It's entered its initial build phase at the company's facility in Norfolk. That's on the east coast of England. The announcement comes as the car makes its Chinese public debut at the Guangzhou Motor Show, and the car starts trials at Lotus's Hethel track next month. Lotus's Gavin Kershaw says a physical prototype testing at speed is a landmark moment for the Evija or the Evija. Hugely exciting for everybody involved. Our aim is to make sure it's a true Lotus in every sense, with an exceptional performance that's going to set new standards for the hypercar sector. Production will commence fully in the middle of next year. Now, an output of I thought this was CC. No, this is brake horsepower. 1,973 bhp, which is more than the up and coming. Here we go. 1,888 bhp. That's out of the Pininfarina Battista, the Rimac C2, and the 1,479 bhp internally combusted Bugatti Chiron, currently in production. No more than 130 of these two-seater hypercars will be built, each priced at 2.04 million.
Yeah.
Target specifications include four-wheel drive, 1,254 pounds of torque vectoring, giving it 0 to 60 in less than 3 seconds and a top speed of 200.
Now, this is all nonsense, really.
How are you going to get 1,973 bhp onto the road?
With great difficulty, unless you've got huge wheels at the back.
Well, would you need, really huge wheels or maybe 16 wheels? As for Lotus, will 2 million price of a car make this the most expensive production car to go into out there? Is there anything more expensive?
Probably. I think that would be the most expensive. However, Gavin Kershaw is wrong, because when he said, what did he say? He said, I was to make this Lotus in every sense of the word. That's rubbish, because anyone that knows anything about motoring, the great Colin Chapman, who was the founder of Lotus, his idea was it wasn't all about power. It was about how the car handled.
Well, hang on. What's his quote? Isn't his quote take away weight and add speed?
Yes, that's how it was done. So it was the philosophy of Lotus was light car, doesn't have to have much horsepower, but it handled brilliantly. So he's wrong. Whoever employed Gavin Kershaw at Lotus is wrong.
Yeah, I'm sure it's Colin Chapman's quote. I'm sure it's something like add speed and take away weight. I'm sure it's something.
To add speed, you take away weight. Yeah.
Adding power makes you faster in straight lines. Subtracting weight makes you faster everywhere. Simplify, then add lightness. That is a Colin Chapman quote. Simplify, then add lightness.
There you go. Gavin Kershaw, you're talking nonsense.
What I took away from this story was the Pininfarina Battista, which is the name of the former fascist leader of Cuba. And he was the one that was overthrown by Castro. So I was wondering if the next was the Bertone Pinochet, or the Ital Peron, or the Zagato Franco. Just a thought. Maybe the Lotus Goebbels will be coming out soon. The Maybach Himmler. I don't know. Just
I'm
putting
not
it out
sure
there.
they would catch on. The
No.
Fiat Mussolini. No,
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I was just yes, El Presidente. It was just a wild stab in the dark. Shall we have some? I can't find it now. Would you like some classic car music?
We'll do some classic cars. We'll give you all details how to contact us later on as well. So
yes, try and find some classic car music. I'm having problems here. Oh, okay, here we go. Here we go.
Yes.
Smooth. Oh yeah. Jazz. Filter cigarettes. Berets.
Berets.
Heroin. Is that enough?
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Well, tell us about the Jaguar.
Thank you, Jazz Band. So this week's classic car should be a British institution, a four-door saloon that was very much up there against some of the more well-known Germany luxury saloons like the 5 Series and the S-Class Mercedes. This week's classic car was produced in the mid-90s. It's the Jaguar X308, better known as the Jaguar XJ8. The big difference over the previous model, which was mechanically slightly different. The older model was called the XJ40. If you didn't know what that one was, it was the one driven by Edward Woodward in the Equalizer. And it was replaced, the engine in there was replaced with the AJ V8 engine, which was available in 3.2 or 4-litre versions, and replaced the old inline 6-cylinder and V12 engines in the Jags. It was the supercharged 370 bhp version, which was called the XJR, that got the most attention, with sports suspension, wider wheels and tyres, and de-chromed trimmings around the body. The R version also sported a mesh grille as opposed to the standard grille on the normal models. This variant had a 0 to 60 time of, because everyone wants to know 0 to 60 time, of 5.6 seconds, and was electronically limited to 155 miles an hour. For the time, it was the fastest four-door saloon that money could buy. The updates over the model, the XJ40 model, addressed all the problems that Jaguar owners previously had. The Jags of the past were unrefined and didn't live up to the luxury high-end big saloon tag. This Jag, however, was excellent all round. The handling was great, and actually it went in the direction you pointed it to. All with the serene quietness from the cockpit. Engines were smooth too. The only downside was what was best described by one journalist as a reverse TARDIS. By that, it was big in size, but the boot space was tiny in the long, shallow trunk. So what do you look for in a Jag XJ? They're actually very reliable if they are cared for. Early models, though, had failing cylinder liners and timing chain tensioners. So if you're going to find one of these, make sure all that work has been taken out previously by previous owners. The XJ sits on 19-inch alloy wheels, so obviously look for curbing on those. The general rule here is it's better to go for a higher miler motorway driven car than a potholed towny example, where the suspension is the name of the game on those ones, because they can often go wrong. The successor, which was the X350 version of the Jaguar, was all aluminium and had air suspension, so always give the suspension a look over when trying to buy one of these. The only real downside that you have with owning a Jaguar XJ was that you paid for it in fuel economy, especially around town. It was thirsty. This, of course, when it came out, had a selling price of around £60,000. I had a look today and found a reasonable spec XJ with 73,000 miles on the clock from 2002, and you could pick that one up for £2,500. But spend a little more money, you'll be able to pick up the supercharged XJR version. I found one from a trader based just outside Birmingham with 104,000 miles on the clock from 1999 on a V plate for just £4,500.
Wow.
So I think that's a small price to pay for what was the last still-bodied Jaguar XJ.
So what years are we looking at?
It would have been just after Ford. This is the, if you don't know, this is the Jag that just as Ford bought them, but didn't put all the parts on the Jaguar. Right. So this was from, I think it was 97 to 2003.
Yeah.
Was this model. But it is a stunning looking car. It is, I think, one of the best looking modern day Jags that you can buy.
Yes, I was surprised that you talked about how small the boot was, because usually Jaguar isn't the standard thing. Is you cannot make a Jaguar unless it can fit 2 sets of golf clubs in the boot.
And that's the thing. So it was
two,
always
not just one, 2 sets.
It was always pretty long to fit the golf clubs in, but it actually wasn't very deep at all. So it didn't have the space that you thought it would have. But I like the Jag X-Ray. I actually did consider once. I think this was a few years ago when we actually used to work together in the same building. I did think about getting one of those Jags.
Pretty impractical for London. But
yes.
But you thought, I mean, the thing is, if you're in Britain, I mean, I keep telling my father to get something like this. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
It doesn't do any mileage. All right, you're going to cry every single year you get it serviced because it's a Jaguar and something will be going bloody wrong with it.
Yeah.
But get it for a couple of years and enjoy it. I wouldn't get one of these in the States. I think they're a bloody money pit over there. In the same way, I wouldn't drive a big fat American car over here. Because again, parts, it's all down to parts and everybody can work on a Jag. Where I live around here, there's lots of old Jags of that era, 15, 20 years old.
Absolutely.
And they are a pretty looking car. Oh, nice. Right. We'll hopefully see you in a Jaguar soon.
Like David Coverdale.
Indeed.
From White Snake.
Yes, I forgot the White Snake video. I forgot that. Now that was... Right, yeah. So it was because White Snake had been around in the late 70s, and we were going completely off track here. And they were really good. They offshoot of Deep Purple, and then David Coverdale from Yorkshire came back. One of those posh Yorkshire accents. Dave Coverdale here, and he got a new load of kids to remake White Snake. I think he recruited all these, and they became more of a hairspray band. 87, and I'm trying to remember which song. Is it? I think it's a ballad, and his girlfriend du jour is all over. It's Dave Coverdale's Jaguar.
Is it? I want to know what love is.
No, that's not White Snake.
That was Foreigner, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's
Fall for your loving. No, we can go through the hits.
They did re-release "Fall for Your Loving." I should know this, and all I can think of when I watch the video is get your bird off the bonnet of that car. Because I think she may even be in high heels. I said, what are you doing, right, sweetheart? Get off the bonnet of that car. Tarty, you're very sexy, yes, but you're going to scratch the bloody paintwork. I'm going to try and think of what was the song called? No, it escapes me.
We'll post it up. We'll post it up later on.
Yes, we'll find out what the Dave Coverdale song was. Right, thank you very much for that. We should do some Lost Highways.
Yes. We'll have the music.
Oh yeah, this is our feature where it's listeners email in and give us their favourite roads and the reason they love them. It could be the little winding coastal road that takes you on holiday, a dramatic mountain pass with switchbacks, or merely your route to the local shops. Although I'm sure the B road that leads to your local Aldi supermarket isn't the most thrilling road you've ever been. But hey, prove me wrong. Right, we're starting off with Oscar. Hello, from Belgium. So I guess it's bonjour or whatever the Flemish version is of bonjour. Hello. Hello. He says he's discovered a great driving road in the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg, of all places. Ooh. So Luxembourg's situated between France and Germany. The Luxembourg portion of my favourite drive, he said, at the last minute, I decided to skip to Luxembourg City. And instead, I did a slow drive across the northern portions of the country. Sorry, I decided to skip Luxembourg City. I wasn't going there. I knew about the castles, but I didn't expect the roads to be so nice. Luxembourg is full of winding roads with hairpin bends on steep mountains. Mm-hmm. From the border near Bastogne, we took the 15 until Is-sur-Sûre, which is a nice little village built around a large fortress on a hill. We drove around until finding a way up the fortress where we had an amazing view from above. We continued south on the 15 until the 308, which we took east to Borscheid Castle. We had a picnic in the castle grounds. Well, he's very specific. Mm-hmm. We stayed on the 308 to the 27. We turned left, then right to get back onto 308. Then we were back on the 7, all the way to Dijkirch, We then cut across the 17, looked for signs for Vianden, and we took the 17 up to Vianden, where we stopped for a few pictures and drove around the town. We then took the 10 north, across Luxembourg's sign, headed towards the German border, and crossed over to Germany at Dashberg. He said it's a really nice driving road. There you go.
He's had some Belgian beers at the same time.
And possibly a stroke. I don't think it's legal there.
We got a letter from Akari in Tokyo, Japan. She says her favorite driving road in the world is just outside our hometown. The Usi Pass between Gunma and Nagano is the section of the Nakasundo Highway. We got all the names this week.
Yeah, good.
It's an amazing.
Well, you can have this one. I'm not touching it to make with a barge pole.
It's an amazing road with some rich history behind it too. It's been used as a major transportation route since at least the 8th century, and it's the home, of course, to the famous drifter Kashay. But that's his name. But by that I mean the car drifter, not the hobo who rides the rails. It leads from Yoko.
Sorry, I was getting confused then. So drifting as in somebody that goes sideways in a Nissan, right?
Yeah, okay. That's his name.
Sorry.
Kashay. It leads from Yokogawa in Gunma in Karuizawa in Nagano, which is a popular tourist spot for locals. Around 12 kilometers long, the road is tight and technical and incredibly squiggly the whole way. The last time she drove here, Akari says, it was wet and foggy. Much like London. So it was extremely slippery with poor visibility in places, and like other mountain passes, you'll need to watch out for large patches of leaves on the ground, especially if you're driving in the autumn. Unfortunately, many popular enthusiast driving roads like this have had these horrible killer cat eyes installed on the centerline. Is that right? Horrible killer cat eyes?
Yeah, I think yes. Apparently they're quite well. Are
they really bad?
Yeah, they're raised. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. In an effort to discourage any dangerous or fun driving manoeuvres, they should do that. That's interesting. They might have that here. And a lot of size corners do have them. Crazy enough, these wheel-destroying lane dividers don't put everyone off, as drifters still choose to accept the challenge and stick to one lane.
There we go. So from Japan, we go to Steve-O, 4566 from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He argues that the drive from Miami to Key West through the beautiful Florida Keys is a classic American road trip. Oh, yes, I've heard about this. I didn't realize it was as long. Key West is the southernmost city in the United States. 4-hour drive from Miami.
Wow.
It's the overseas highway. There are tons of interesting things to do on the 110-mile trip to the Conch Republic. I think it's Conch, actually, including crossing 42 bridges. Road trip from Miami to Key West will take you a few days, but it's worth it. Don't do it in the hurricane season. It stretches over 43 keys or islands, conjuring up many images of palm trees swaying in tropical breezes and miles of ocean vistas. Panoramic scenic views are in abundance, along with the Florida Keys Scenic Highway. Catch glimpses of dolphins swimming with their young, manatees gracefully floating in the shallow waters. Or you could just go to a German swimming baths and endangered birds peacefully gliding through a brilliant blue sky. Sorry, East German swimming baths. One man-made structure to enjoy is the 7-mile bridge. I've always fancied going across this, which stretches across the ocean from Knight's Tee to Little Duck Key and is one of the longest bridges in existence. When you reach the destination at Key West, go to the Ernest Hemingway bar, Sloppy Joe's, and have a rum daiquiri and a cigar. That sounds like a very good suggestion. I have. This is probably one on my bucket list I'd like to do. I'd like to travel around, do Florida, and I know somebody that did go down the Florida Keys, but they flew, because it does take I think to appreciate this, you've got to do it in a couple of days. Right. If you want to email the Car-Boyz, it's car-boys at car. Sorry, I showed the email. I've got it completely wrong. Car-boys, boys with a Z, at outlook.com. Email the show, car-boys at Outlook.com, Boys with a Z. Facebook, we are Car-Boys with a Z at Car-Boys 4Zs. Car-Boys with a Z at Car-Boys 4Zs at the end. Twitter, we are Car-Boys at Car_Boys. Car-Boys at Car_Boys. Email again, Car-Boys at Outlook.com. Boys, always with a Z. It's mailbag time.
Yes.
First off, we're going to we're staying in America. We're going to see Mikey in New York, Long Island. He emails the show thinking about buying an Alfa Romeo Giulia 2-litre. Is it Giulia? Julia.
I think her name's Julia.
Yes, Julia. Or not Giulietta. That was another Alfa. Yes. 2-litre, 2 years old, very low mileage. Yes, her sister. $20,000. Should he go for it? We had a look online. About the same cost in the UK.
Yeah.
Great spec in these, reversing cameras, 8-speed gearbox, 8-speed, but it's an Alfa Romeo. They have a heritage of cars that wear out very easily. They're incredibly fun to drive, but also not very reliable. Very, very race-like engines, which require a lot of maintenance. Always take an Alfa Romeo to an Alfa Romeo dealer. When you change the cam belts, there's usually 3 cam belts to change. I've had friends that have only had 1 cam belt to change, resulting in a £3,000 repair bill. 3 cam belts. They're beautiful to look at these engines.
Yeah.
They've been back in the US since 2008, part of the Fiat Chrysler group. So again, not really well made. Not a great brand there. Great car to have a while. Have fun with it. As soon as the bills start to roll in, get rid of it and buy a Japanese or Korean car. That's what I'd say.
That said, it is such a beautiful car. It really is beautiful. Nice little saloon car as well.
I imagine and I'm just guessing here. Mike is in Long Island, so he either lives and works in Long Island, which is then he can have that car, drive it around because not Long Island is a small place, or he works in Manhattan and he doesn't use it every day. Then that's the car to go for. If he's working somewhere else and he's doing high mileage, do not buy this car.
Oh, definitely not.
This car will break down. But if you get a low mileage car, and you're only going to, it'll look good on the American highway. It really will, and you'll be able to beat most things at the lights. I didn't really look up what the 0-60 is in it, but it's an Alfa. It's going to be pretty good, 2-litre.
Absolutely.
So why not go for it? But remember, when the bills come in, start to think this is the time to get rid of this car. I had an M Sport BMW, and I had it for 2 years, and I enjoyed it, and it was a great little car. And then I was presented with a bill that was nearly £1,000. I went, bye-bye, selling time, and I got rid of it.
Oh, there you go. So that's for you, Mikey. We had an email from Tina in Cork, in Ireland. She wants to buy a used car. Should you consider getting one from the UK or bringing it over? I don't see why not. It's I've never been to Ireland. What's it like in Cork?
Okay, right. So the reason why it'd be a good idea is because the roads in Southern Ireland are historically poorly maintained. Once you get off the main highways, I would never buy a car from the Republic, as the underside will be dented as billy-o. The shocks and wheels sort of taken a beating. I nearly bought a Hyundai Coupe from Ireland, and I thought better off it. I thought, no, I'm not going to do this. So it would make sense to get a car from the UK. The problem is bringing a car from the UK to Ireland. It's a small boat journey, but this is going to be a pain. You're going to have to get the V5C, which is the ownership document, and then tell the British government you're going to export it. If you own it in England for more than 6 months, I mean, maybe she says she's in Cork, but maybe she's get a relative to drive it around London for 6 months or wherever they live. You won't pay the VAT on the car. If you're going to go, yes, but if you aren't, you've got to pay the VAT. You also have to pay the VRT, the vehicle registration tax, which is the Irish version, if you've used the car for less than 6 months in another principality. So that's basically what you're going to have to pay. If you live in Ireland, and then she won't have used it in England, this will involve an inspection on behalf of the revenue inspectors to make sure the car is the same as it says on the V5C. Then there's the motor tax. Then there's insurance. You'll need to drive it in Ireland. This is quite time consuming.
Sounds complicated.
It can be done. It might be just easier to buy a newer car from Southern Ireland, but one that hasn't been driven around the country roads of the west coast. You might.
Yeah.
There's a nice little car in Dublin, which has been driven around Dublin and not anywhere else. Yes, that's the problem. Or if you've got somebody over here who can buy it for you, so you can get away without paying the vehicle registration tax, and then register it as theirs in Ireland, and then maybe I'm just suggesting this. I'm not saying I would never suggest that you should do this, but possibly
obviously
this is an idea. If they own it for 6 months, then maybe a couple of weeks later they sell it on to you. But it just sounds like I don't know.
It just sounds
like a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
or if she is going across to England all the time, just buy an English car and drive it around Southern Ireland.
Yeah, that's one way of doing it. Sounds really complicated. So if you want to save yourself some time, I think Tina, you just or rent one. That's probably another alternative. Just rent one.
Yeah. Michael writes to us from the Isles of Scilly, just off the end of Cornwall. This is right at the end of England in the Atlantic. Listening to the show last week, we mentioned the need for a folding electric motorcycle that would fit in the boot.
Yes.
He wants to get one, petrol electric. He doesn't care. This is a bit outside our remit, but it's still motorised. For his sailboat. So that when he sails to a new location or a different country, he can just drive off on his motorcycle when he gets to dry land. Now, we talked last week about 1970s monkey bikes.
Yes.
You could get one of these, a monkey bike, because I think the handlebars, you could unfold the handlebar.
Yeah, I think you could, yeah.
Depends how big his boat is. I found a company called De Blasi. They've been making a fold-up motorcycle since the 1970s. Right. And it properly is. Little two-stroke engine. It all folds in on itself. The back and then the handlebars. I mean, you get it into a large suitcase. Okay. Second-hand petrol one, £1,200 on eBay.
Ooh.
Fat little wheels. It looks like a really cute little thing. But if you go to their website, they're called De Blasi. They also do an electric version now.
Fantastic.
I would say one thing. If he is going to have no insurance on this thing, or road tax, or MOT, if he goes to France and drives it around Bordeaux, if he gets to Spain and he comes into the port, say Mallorca on the port Andrax, and drives off, again, no MOT. I mean, really, I wouldn't. The thing is not really going to cause much damage, is it? It's 50cc.
Fantastic.
Just a thought, but yeah, you can buy these little fold-up motorcycles.
I'm going to have a look at those.
Yeah, De Blasi is the company, and I thought, that could be a way to go. Get it on the boat and then get off at the other end.
Or, of course, if De Blasi are listening, you can lend us electric or a petrol one.
Yeah, we could try it out for you. Yeah, do a review on
that. Finally, we got John in Cape Town. His neighbour is trying to sell an old E-Type Jag. Oh, is there a lot of Jag theme today?
Yes.
He's had it in his garage forever. It runs but hasn't been used for years. Should he have a punt and buy it or to restore? Classic car. Always people that are interested in E-Type Jags.
Yes.
But could be problematic, I'd have thought.
This could be a money pit. If you got a bad one. So you want to make gearbox, engine, chassis numbers need to match. That's what the collectors are looking for. They want stickers for this. Interior wear and tear replacement parts are going to be expensive, difficult to find, especially in South Africa.
Yes, that's true.
They haven't made this car for 40 years. That being said, South Africa's dry, so should be rust free, and you could have a good one. I would want a Jaguar mechanic to come with me. I would pay a Jaguar. I'd say yes. I had an option to do this a couple of years ago, and we never did it. I had a look at the photo on my friend's phone and went, "You are joking." Well, it was a friend of his. Father had died. I've got an E-Type in a garage. I want to get rid of it. Do you want to give me some money for it? And my mate Matt said, "What do you think?" And I looked at the photo and went, No. This thing had gone. This was for some. It was a full-on restoration.
Yeah. I think you'd need a suitcase of money for this, wouldn't you, if you were going to do it?
It could be an absolute minter. I mean, it could be just covered in dust. You don't know. You need to make sure the engine's not seized. I'd take a mechanic with me. I'd say, go and have a look at the underneath. Go and have a look at the engine. Those are the two big ones. Make sure this is not a Frankenstein car, and the engine, the gearbox, and the chassis all matched. That's the first thing. The reason I say it is a potential, I know you're erring on the side of caution, which you probably should do, is the fact it's in Cape Town. This could be a real nice car because it could be dry.
Can you imagine that? Driving around streets of Cape Town in a...
That would be very cool, although I imagine in South Africa there's certain areas you wouldn't want to drive around. I'm just saying. There's a lot of South Africans in southwest London for a reason, and not in Joburg. So that could be a possibility. If you want to ask us any questions, and I've now lost a piece of paper, you can get in touch with us. It's car-boys@outlook.com. Email us car-boys@outlook.com. Facebook, we are car-boys at Car-Boys, all the Zs. Car-boys at Car-Boys, 4 Zs at the end. Email us car-boys@outlook.com, and we will endeavour to answer all of your questions, however silly they may be. Time now for the quiz.
Woohoo!
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Welcome to the big quiz this week. It is, ladies and gentlemen, Mad Dog's in it. Thank you. Oh, no, a bit more. All right. No. Oh, go on, one more time. Yeah, thank you.
That's very Bruce Forsyth.
It is, thank you, yes, exactly. Big quiz this week. Mad Dogs and Englishmen. Foreigners, they're a funny old lot, aren't they? They speak weird, they eat weird stuff we throw away, and they don't respect the authority of the Queen. And by which, I mean they drive on the wrong side of the bloody road. Our quiz this week, we will be looking at the strange laws of the highway that apply to countries all over the world. For example, is there a sign in Germany which states it is illegal to stop at the Polish border until you reach Warsaw? No, that's an old law that hasn't been in use since 1939. But I digress. This week, I'm donning my red velvet suit of the 1970s quizmaster and asking my special guest a question from across the globe. This week, Simon from Enfield, North London, is hoping to walk away with some tats that we found on fire in a skip. Simon, are you excited to take part?
Oh, absolutely excited, yes.
Good. Then I'll begin. Love, super, smashing, great. First off, in which country are you not allowed to drink water whilst driving? In which country are you not allowed to drink water whilst driving? Is it A, Turkey, gobble gobble, B, Russia, or C, Cyprus? Come on, it's our Black Friday Thanksgiving thing. Give me a break. I was trying to appeal to our American audience. So is it A, Turkey, B, Russia, or C, Cyprus?
So I'm thinking Turkey would be something like, I don't know, some kind of ouzo-based drink. I'm thinking Russia would be vodka. I might go for Cyprus.
Can you believe it? The hottest of all places, Cyprus. It is illegal to drink water while driving. I've driven in Cyprus. I don't ever remember that. Anyway,
but
there
absolutely fine to drink some vodka while you're driving.
Yes, you can drink some Cypriot ouzo. That's not a problem, but you can't drink water. The good thing about driving in Cyprus is other motorists flash you when there's a speed trap.
Oh,
it's very cool. Yeah, I was driving along near the
community,
and I got this flash, and I went emit, and I slowed right down, and there was a cop car on the corner. Thank you, fellow Cypriot motorist. Okay, so ding, question right. On what day of the week are you prohibited from washing your car in Switzerland? On what day of the week are you prohibited from washing your car in Switzerland? Is it A, Tuesday? Is it B, Saturday? Or is it C, Sunday?
Oh, this is going to be a tough one. Tuesday,
Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday. Swiss, Tuesday, they're probably all working in their banks. Yes. Saturday, they're all eating chocolate. I'm going to go for C, Sunday.
Yes, of course. Switzerland is quite a religious country. I think it was Zwingli was the Swiss Calvinist preacher that encouraged the country to break away from the Catholic Church. And of course, the Swiss Guard still protect the Pope in Rome. You were correct. It was Sunday. Moving on to question 3. In which US state is it illegal to read a comic book whilst driving? Not eat a burger. It's mandatory in some states of America to eat a burger while driving. No, in which US state is it illegal to read a comic book whilst driving? Is it A, Oklahoma? Is it B, Ohio? Or is it C, New York? I'm walking here.
I
A,
don't.
Oklahoma. B, Ohio. Or C, New York? I'm walking here.
I don't think it's going to be New York because it's too New Yorky. Oklahoma, they're too busy singing Oklahoma. I'm gonna go for what was B?
B was Ohio.
I'll go for Ohio. B.
I'm afraid incorrect. It's illegal to read a comic book whilst driving in Oklahoma. I don't know why. Maybe it's because you doing that reading there, are you? I'm not sure. I'm not saying Oklahoma's a bit redneck. I don't think it is. I'm just saying this. What? You think you're better than me? I'm doing a Southern American accent. I don't know what Oklahoma sounds like. No, sorry, you got that one wrong. Moving on. In California, is it illegal to use a road as A, a bed, B, between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m., or C, on Christmas Day? In California, it's illegal to use a road as A, a bed, B, between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m., or C, on Christmas Day.
Oh man, this is so. Former governor of California was, of course, Arnie.
Don't use the chopper.
He probably does his best work between 1 and 4 in the morning. I'm going to say sleep. Bed. Use it as a bed.
It's bed. Correct. Ding. You are correct. I don't know where that's from. I don't know why that is. That is just the answer. You can drive on Christmas Day, and you can drive your Humvee between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. on the road. Get to the chopper. In which country, question 5, in which country does it state that anyone killed in a road accident should be breathalyzed? In which country does it state that anyone killed in a road accident, how are you going to do this, I don't know, should be breathalyzed? Is it A, Argentina, B, Brazil, or C, Canada?
Not really big drinking countries, I would have thought. So Canada, Brazil, or Argentina? I think I'm going to take a punt this one. I'm going to go for Argentina. No logic behind it.
I'm afraid. You're in the right area, though. The answer is B, Brazil. I guess they drink a lot of caipirinhas. And my only thought is voodoo zombies. Because you stick a breathalyzer in a dead person's mouth. I'm not scientifically trained. This is just a guess. It's not going to come up positive or negative because they're not breathing because they're dead. Maybe the idea is one policeman jumps up and down on the chest while the other one puts the breathalyzer in the mouth, and then they'd know. Or you could just take some blood and the autopsy. Strange. Moving on. So you've got that one wrong. So I think you're three so far. The three? Yes, you got 3 right. Moving on. Back to USA. In Tennessee, it is illegal to shoot what from your vehicle? In Tennessee, it is illegal to shoot what from your vehicle? I didn't say Jew. No. It's A, a bear, B, a whale, or C, a dog. In Tennessee, where they make the very gorgeous whiskey, USA, we could do with a whiskey sponsor, is it illegal to shoot what from your vehicle? A, a bear, B, a whale, or C, a dog?
I don't think there are any whales or bear. I'm going to go for, crazy as it is, a dog.
I'm afraid you're wrong. It is B, a whale.
What?
I'm not sure whether Tennessee has a coastline. I'm pretty sure it doesn't.
No. But
it has a lot of bourbon. And maybe if you're seeing whales from your car, maybe it's got a lot of ocean land or whatever, It's got a lot of those theme parks with dolphins and stuff in. And somebody might be going past in a pickup truck, got myself a whale.
Oh my word.
Yeah, not sure about that one. Sorry about that. That was a bit of a trick question. Question 7. In which country could you receive a fine for driving without a shirt on? So I assume this refers to any top at all. Driving with your nipples out. Is it A, Australia, B, the Ukraine, or C, Thailand?
I'm thinking Australia's going to be hot, so I don't think it's going to be Australia. Ukraine, probably going to be cold, so your nipple's going to be out anyway. Thailand?
Ding! Correct. It's Thailand. Which country could you receive a fine for driving without a top on? A, Australia, B, Ukraine, or C, Thailand. Thailand was the correct answer. You can also get a fine in Australia for being in Thailand for being a white person, which I used to get regular fines, because I was seen as a driving wallet. Strange. Oh, I've been fined, have I? Oh, strange. Oh, you mean a bribe so I can drive down this road? Thank you very much. Not that I'm saying anything about Thailand. What a wonderful country it is. And please let me get back into Thailand. Moving on to question 8. In Montreal, Canada, it is illegal to drive a car containing a what? A, a dog, B, a chicken, or C, a sign for sale. In Montreal, Canada, it's illegal to drive a car containing what? I was going to say, or D, a French person. No. In Montreal, it's illegal to drive a car containing what? A, a dog, B, a chicken, or C, a sign for sale.
Chicken sounds absurd, so absurd that it might be right. But I'm gonna go instead with a for sale sign.
Oui, c'est correct. It is illegal to drive with a sign
merci.
or for sale. Nearly there. Question 9. Is it illegal to do what with a dog in Alaska? Those long Alaska nights. Oil men in Alaska get lonely. Right. No. Here we go. Is it A, tie it to the roof? Is it B, put it in the boot? Or is it C, put it in the passenger seat? I think we've all seen that. Was it National Lampoon's Holiday Vacation, where he ties it to the bumper and drives off? Is it illegal to do what with a dog in Alaska? Keep it clean. I know Alaska nights are long and dark, but A, tie it to a roof, B, put it into the boot, or C, put it into the passenger seat.
I think it's probably something simple like put it in the passenger seat.
No, it was tied to the roof. You fool.
Why would you do it anyway?
Because you're Alaskan.
It doesn't need to be a law. It doesn't need to be a law. And you've drank
a lot of high moonshine and you're going back to the oil rig. I don't know. Okay, question 10. You can be fined for not giving way to what in South Africa? A, other vehicles, B, people, or C, animals. You can be fined for not giving way to what in South Africa? A, other vehicles, B, people, or C, animals.
People, vehicles, or other animals. I'm going to take a punt on this one and go for people, because that's the only way it can be enforced, surely.
No, I'm afraid you got it wrong. It is, in fact, animals. I guess you've got a lot of, if you're going through the Kruger National Park, you've got to give way to the elephants, I'm guessing. I don't know.
Yeah, because I'd give way to him anyway, because I'm pretty sure.
Oh, you get anyway, you elephant. Come on.
The elephant will come off better than my vehicle.
Yeah, my Citroen 2CV or an elephant. Let's have a guess. Simon, you are sort of a winner. You got 5 out of 10.
Oh, just
well
average.
Done. The audience are going crazy. Thank you very much. Yes, okay. All right. Shut up. Enough of that. Yes, so well done. 5 out of 10. You walk off with some cat that we found on fire in a skip. So well done to you. And thank you for playing our quiz, Mad Dogs and Englishmen. That is it from us this week. Have a fantastic, what is it they're doing in America?
Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all that stuff.
Fantastic, yes, Thanksgiving. And I hope you assault each other in the mall on Black Friday and get 10% off a TV, which is completely useless. That's it from us this week. Email us. The Car-Boyz are emailable at carboys@outlook.com. It's car-boys@outlook.com. Car-boys@outlook.com. We'll endeavour to answer your questions, be they car-related or not. Facebook, we are Car-Boys. You can check out the podcast there. Car-Boys at Car-Boys with 4 Zs. Car-Boys with a Z at Car-Boys 4 Zs at the end. Twitter, we are Car-Boys with a Z at Car_Boys with a Z. Thank you very much for tuning in. Are you off out tonight, Simon?
No, it's indoors for me. It's been rock and roll this week.
Okay. And I hear you are award-winning now, so
by I'm not talking about awards.
Association, we are also an award-winning show. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye.